Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Games I Speak. I'm Gio,
I'm Josie.
and today we have a lot of good news for you. A lot of it is actually we
We
have
got some
some
bad
bad
news.
news too.
Yeah.
But I also found a lot of RPG news. So if
That's
you're an
already up my
RPG
alley.
fan,
Yeah.
yeah, this is a good episode for you.
Don't
Okay,
bite.
so the
Don't bite at
first
me.
first story. This is the bummer. This is a report by the Gamer.
You're just ripping the Band-Aid.
PS3, Vita, and PSP stores to be permanently closed in a few months. Now, let's kind of go through here and check out what they're saying. Um, According to a source familiar with the situation verified by the Gamer, the stores are due to be closed down from July. The announcement is planned for the end of this month. So this was published on 5 days ago. So that would mean that the announcement is like gonna be
Impending.
yeah, it's gonna be in a few days. According to this. Now this says PSPs and PS3 stores are to be closed on July 2nd, while the PS Vita store will stay open until August 7. After those dates, you will no longer be able to purchase digital copies of games or DLC for any of the Sony consoles mentioned above. The so yeah, and then it just goes in here to talk about some stuff. So all right, this is a big issue, and a lot of people were kind of thrown off by this because lately Sony's been doing a lot of good things, and but now you have the closing of Japan studio, and now you have the potential closing of PSP, PS Vita, and PS3 stores. And yeah, so I mean, what's your initial thought on this?
Bummer.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. I do use the store actually semi-frequently, not as frequently, obviously, because of the lack of games that are coming out. But I did just a couple of weeks ago get Mystic Chronicles for the PSP off of the PS3 store, and and the PS Vita, like I only have a 32 gigabyte memory card drive for it, so some of
Hmm.
the games are saved on my PS3, so I can kind of like go back and forth.
Yeah.
Um, I need to buy a bigger memory card. This is what this tells me to do,
Yes.
and back up a lot of things. I mean, that's the legal route, and I understand that people are introduced to the illegal route as well, but I am currently not a proponent of that.
Yeah.
So speaking specifically legally, this does suck. And for a person that owns a lot of physical hard software, physical,
Yeah.
yeah, physical games, and the access to DLC, to any kind of patches,
Hmm.
if that's all going to be erased.
Yes. So this comes back to the whole concept of, and I know we've talked about this before. You know, you're a publisher, developers. I know developers, they hold on to their code pretty tightly, right?
It depends. I mean,
Yeah.
look at Square Enix and the fact that they needed to like remake Final Fantasy VIII, the old one, because they lost all the code. What happens is that developers back in the day for their older games, at least for Square Enix in this example, would dump everything to make room for the next project.
I see. So it was a storage
Yes.
issue for them. Okay. Well, now here's the one topic of debate. Like, do you believe that these companies, they're profit driven, right?
Yes.
But do you think there's an argument to be made that they should also be stewards of gaming history as well? Because they have the keys to the project. So if they're not taking care of it, it's up to like fans and gamers to chronicle and catalog all this stuff, which I know
And
there's people out there.
that's why you have emulation. That's
Yeah.
why you have all these
Yes.
third party avenues
Yes.
of accessing these kinds of games. So whether they
Yeah.
be through repros, which I have purchased my own kind of repros, or through mods and emulators online.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree that I think that developers should be stewards of their projects and make them accessible to
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
But and this is just me kind of thinking out loud. We've seen the viability of the resurgence of games in terms of with a shiny new coat of paint. Look at the recent release of Panzer Dragoon, for an example, or maybe Grandia HD.
Yeah. Those are good
Final
examples.
Fantasy VIII, which I just suggested. I think Square Enix has been fantastic stewards, at least in terms of revitalizing their games for current gen systems. I don't know if they're the best at the way they're porting them, and examples like Final Fantasy VI and how terrible it looked versus the Super Nintendo version, Final Fantasy III, Final Fantasy VI, or Chrono Trigger, and that they needed to actually redo a lot of things so that it didn't look as bad as it did, or work as bad as it did. But they've been really good stewards at bringing back a lot of their older titles to newer generation consoles, or to current generation consoles. And so the thing is that there's kind of been a shift. We had the eShops for Nintendo Wii and the PS3 and stuff like that. But I think maybe developers are seeing that cash in terms of, wait, I could rebundle it my way and then resell it in a different method, rather than giving Sony or Nintendo or Xbox access to all their old games, and then that cuts whatever new stuff that they can bring out. Nintendo does this all the time with the Switch. Every kind of rebundling of a Wii U game, they erase it completely from the Wii U eShop.
Yes.
And that's just a more modern way of that type of thinking.
Yeah.
So I think that developers want ownership of their titles more, rather than letting the console makers, the console owners, to make those decisions for them and have access to all their old titles. Maybe they want to keep it under lock and key and decide how it's distributed.
Yes.
That's just an idea.
Yeah. No, I like the direction you're headed, because no one's going to show more love to the title than the people who built it with their minds and their hands.
For the most part. I mean, look at Warcraft Reforged.
Yeah.
Warcraft Reforged.
But in those cases, it's you know what? It's hard to say, because who knows how many people even exist at that studio even more that worked on the original,
Yeah.
Um,
but people are excited for Diablo 2.
Yeah, people are excited for Diablo 2.
And then StarCraft 2 was also remade.
Or StarCraft 1.
StarCraft 1, pardon. Sorry.
Yeah, and they actually did a good job with that one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I would like to see developers kind of take control more than allowing publishers to do stuff like this. And then, of course, you and me only really have good things to say about all the people who spend their free time archiving these games and keeping them alive,
Definitely.
So yeah, shout out to all the people out there who I believe it's the Game History Foundation or something like that. They catalog magazines and cartridges and all the different consoles and stuff like that. And then there's a guy, I saw a video on him. It was on My Life in Gaming. He's the one who takes all the open source images of games and consoles and everything.
Yeah, those guys are the best.
Yes.
Try and Quarry.
Yeah. So yeah, all the people working on that, like, just keep doing it because it's good work. And you and me collecting, we're doing it in our own way as well. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's preservation,
It's preservation.
and honestly, uh, I wish, like you were pretty much insinuating, that developers would take it a little bit more seriously
Yes.
and allow access to their history, their library of games. I mean, it's one of the reasons that you and I are currently suffering,
Yeah.
and any other kind of game collector, through this market. All these games in their physical iterations are blown out of proportion in terms of their value because they're inaccessible.
Yeah, because they keep cutting them from the stores, the
Well,
online digital
some of them
stores.
aren't even available
Yeah.
via the
Yeah.
stores, and they're lost to history.
Yeah.
Aside from, like I said, more questionable means.
Yeah. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find a external hard drive for my PS3, and I'm just gonna go on there and get everything I want now, in
Well,
case this
the-
happens.
I do want to do the same. I
Yeah.
honestly am thinking about the same. Actually, I had pretty much all my games on my 500 gigabyte PS3,
Hmm.
but it wasn't until I'd say 3 or 4 years ago during my annual Demon Souls run,
Hmm.
um, something hard crashed and it wiped everything on there. Like
Damn.
I needed to wipe everything off of there. So I need to figure out if that was a hard drive problem or not. But I do want to get a new hard drive and do the same thing that you're saying, even
Yeah.
though the PS3 internet connection is Bobo and it
Yes.
takes forever to download everything.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be days in
Yeah.
order to download all that stuff. But that actually raises another question: is what about games that were acquired via the PSN, like free games, the ones that because I have plenty of them where I have access to them. Um, I wonder how they're doing that.
I would say
They're just gonna take
if
them off.
yeah, I think so.
It
It
sucks.
sucks, man. So yeah, my advice to everyone out there would be to get, if you have a portable, get like a 256 gig SD card or something and download everything and then make a backup of it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And if you have a PS3, get a big external hard drive and just download everything to it and make a backup of it. And then that way, if your PS3 crashes, you have that hard drive. You can just plug it up to. You can buy a new used PS3 and just hook it up. Because yeah, this if this is true, the stores are going to be gone, and the only way you would be able to work around it is if people made like a homebrew app that could work on your PS3. But those are very costly. They're hard to set up. A lot of them require like soldering and tampering with the original board inside of it. So it's not easy. It's not easy, and it's usually expensive unless you know what you're doing. So yeah, just prepare. That's all. I mean, that's my advice to everyone. Just prepare, because if this is true, you're gonna wish you had downloaded and backed up all your games before this
Correct.
happens. So, but it just sucks that we had to hear from a rumor if this is true, that they wouldn't come out and tell us in advance. You know what I mean?
Well,
Um,
they're going to be telling us in advance. It's just not as in advance as the rumor was leaked.
yeah, I mean, but it just sucks to hear it from a rumor if it's true. I mean, I
Fair.
hope it's not true. I hope. Let's hope it's not true. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's.
that begs the question, like going forward, and maybe I'm not going to live long enough for this to happen,
Yeah.
but like, what if the PlayStation Network is redone in such a way that it no longer aligns with past generation consoles that rely on the network to function in some way, shape, or form? And an example is the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4, like, if you're not connected to the internet, it's always like, you need to be connected to the internet.
Yes.
If you want to play this game, you need to be connected to the internet. And I'm like,
Yes.
calm down.
Yeah. Um. So it's gonna be. This is what I always tell people. Yeah, it might not be in our lifetime,
Yeah.
but at some time in history, someone's gonna unearth a PlayStation, and they're gonna be like, "What is this?" And they're gonna have a hell of a time trying to find the
Any
data
method of
for it.
connecting it.
Yeah,
It's like RG what?
So yeah, at some point it's going to happen. It's probably not going to happen in our lifetimes though. And
Yeah.
every
That,
time there's an
that's one
advance,
small comfort.
yeah. Like for example, the next time there's an advance in video input and output, when we leave HDMI, someone's going to make an adapter for HDMI to that. You know what I mean? Just like we have an adapter.
Fair.
Yeah. So
I mean, we already have HDMI 2.1 cables.
yes.
So yeah, no, I see it happening.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's the main story for this week. I hope it's not true, but if it is, I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna order a hard drive and start backing up my stuff. So I would suggest you do the same if you have like a older PlayStation 3 or
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Next up, Astria Ascending comes to Switch this year with Final Fantasy veteran Kazushige Nojima in tow. So, do you know about this game?
Never heard of it. I'm already in because it's Square Enix, and the art style is very reminiscent of something like Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm
Yeah.
in.
So,
Kazushige Nojima, isn't that the writer for Final Fantasy VII? Or am I correct? Am I correct?
um,
I forget.
yeah, I forget. I think
But
he
this is on
worked.
Switch?
Yeah, I think he worked on Final Fantasy 12. But let me read this.
Yeah.
All right. Um, or maybe that was someone else. An epic adventure with the charm and pedigree of a classic JRPG, Astria Ascending tells an expansive story of fate, sacrifice, and new beginnings. The game was developed in partnership with publisher Dear Villagers and boasts contributions from world classic JRPG developers, with a score by Hitoshi Sakamoto,
Nice.
Final Fantasy 12, Vagrant Story, narrative by that's who this
Kazushige
gentleman
Nojima.
is. Yep. So
Yep.
yeah,
I was right. Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy VII Remake. He also did Final Fantasy VII. He did a lot of the books as well.
yes. So this is a independent game.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
so
this
wait
is
a
not
second.
Square Enix.
Who's publishing it?
Let's keep. Oh, it says Dear Villagers.
Oh, pardon. Yeah. In
Uh,
partnership. Gotcha.
yeah. So let me keep reading here. In a
And art
world,
from Akihiko Yoshida. Love
yeah.
him. He's great.
In a world where chaos looms, players take control of the demigods, a motley crew of 8 heroes charged with the fate of the world. Each character has their own story, explored across 5 cities, 25 dungeons, and 30 hours of gameplay up to 50 for 100% completion. Along with the finely tuned turn-based combat, players can try out a range of side quests and mini-games, including an original fantasy-themed token game. In Astria Ascending, we wanted to explore how people cope in extraordinary times, says Artisan Studios game director Julien Bourgeois. Each hero has their own perspective, but it's the relationships they form with one another that truly brings the story to life. Seeing this world come together has been a delight.
Guillaume Jamais.
Okay. Head of publisher for Dear Villagers. And it's an honor to have so many legends on the team helping out. Like a childhood dream come true, Astria Ascending is more than an homage to the classics. It's the perfect next step in our publishing line of ambitious JRPGs. So, yeah, there you have it. Let's take a look at some of these screenshots here.
Yeah, I'm already in love. This is just right up my alley.
Yeah.
It's just that man, so many games.
I know. But this is going to be a
It's a good problem
unique
to have.
game. This is going to be a unique game.
Yes. I mean, I still have many other games to play, like Octopath Traveler. Zodiac. What is that? Zodiac or Canon? Odyssey?
They're
Astria
just
Ascending. Wait. Scroll up a little bit. I'll read it. Astria Ascending will be bringing back Zodiac's former team, and that includes Kazushika Nojima, best known for his work as a writer on multiple Final Fantasy entries, starting with Final Fantasy VII. He's joined by composer Hitoshi Sakamoto, best known for his work on Final Fantasy XII, Valkyria Chronicles, and more recently 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. That was a fantastic game. I really like 13 Sentinels. As for launch date, blah, 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 blah. Interested? Did you previously play Zodiac Arcanon Odyssey? So this is the previous game from the same company, maybe?
I think so. Yeah, this might be a
What?
similar game by them.
But what did it come out on? It has
It doesn't say on here.
interesting. Okay.
But
That's
I'm gonna
something.
post this article in the video description.
Mm-hmm.
So check it out and definitely watch this video where they talk about the creation of the game.
Cool. No, definitely. I gotta look into that.
Yeah. So this caught my eye, and this is something that I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on. Okay. All right. Next up. Yasunori Mitsuda and Ace Plus Xenoblade OST band working together on a new project.
Nice. God, I love Xenoblade.
Yeah. Today, Pyrocon Studios Mitsuda tweeted that they're starting up the big April project they were talking about a couple months ago. The super hype thing is that, is that Chico from Ace Plus, who also said they were prepping for a big project, seems to be joining him and working on what they're doing. Now, for those that don't know, Mitsuda is a music composer, director that has done quite a few famous game OSTs in smaller works such as Chrono Trigger. I would not call this a smaller work. Xenogears. Basically, most Square Enix games in the 90s. In recent years, he directed the entire Xenoblade 2 OST, as well as did music for the first game. Ace Plus is a really cool band that most famously worked on the soundtracks of both Xenoblade 1 and 2. Most of the infamous tracks are by them.
Nice.
Um,
I mean, those have God tier soundtracks.
yes.
Xenoblade 1 over 2, though. No offense.
Okay. In addition to this, Pyrocom have been posting loads of images and tweets. The score apparently has a lot of dark, depressing, and sad music. Seems to be a very big deal. In addition, they're recording the main piece of whatever soundtrack they're working on, and the motif will appear in other songs in it. More info can be found on Mitsuda's blog and the Twitter account. While it's not 100%, Mitsuda and Ace working together on a music project points heavily towards a new Xenoblade game. In addition, there have been multiple insider rumors about such. So, in my opinion, it's basically on the card. Okay, so this was a post by Xenomorph555 on Reddit. So, yeah, what do you think about this?
Cool. It's exciting.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear more. There's not kind of enough there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like they're being hush-hush about what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it was a new Xenoblade, would you be? I bet you would line up like instantly.
Totes my goats. I mean, like Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I told you to get it. You got it, but you
Didn't
haven't
play it
played
yet.
it.
Yeah.
And I played it till the end of time. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I put in over 300 hours. And Xenoblade Chronicles X, I adore. Xenoblade Chronicles X is one of those games where it's just like, I could just keep playing it. And it feels like I kind of gave up on it, even though I had completed, the story and everything. Mm-hmm. Like, there's just more stuff. There's always more stuff to do. It's so much fun. I love those games. So I'm excited to see what they have. Torna was fun. It was a good side story, but Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 are where it's at. And X. Yeah, I'm a very big fan of X.
What console is X on?
X is on the Wii U, unfortunately, and it's locked on the Wii U, so you don't have access to it until it's probably re-released. I mean, people have been talking about it, hopefully getting re-released on the Switch.
Okay.
The thing is that it made substantial use of the Wii U screen, the second screen.
Okay.
The gamepad. Jeez, I couldn't figure out the word. And I think it would be a little bit more laborious unless they figure out a way of doing it somehow, because honestly, the 2 screens was perfect for that game.
Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, there you have it. A potential new Xenoblade game.
Yeah.
Uh,
I want to see what Monolith Soft has been doing, because I think they've been helping out with Breath of the Wild 2, maybe.
yeah. All right. Next up, Hironobu Sakaguchi interview. I'm aging, so I made a game that returns to my roots. This is a game from Video Game Chronicle, or article from Video Game Chronicle. The Final Fantasy creator discusses Fantasian, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Mistwalker's plan for the future.
This game looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know about it, but in this game, Hironobu Sakaguchi and Mistwalker, they went ahead and they've created all of the settings, all of the levels
Mm-hmm.
in real life. They're utilizing real life models
Oh wow.
for the
Oh
world.
yeah. There's pictures down here.
Yes, like that's actual dirt.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. But oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So yeah, can you give a brief summary on what this game is about?
Well, see, I don't know much about it aside from the fact that it is a JRPG done by the legendary Hironobu Sakaguchi and Mistwalker. The actual setting of the location, I actually don't know. It looks very much akin to his Final Fantasy style of gameplay making,
Mm-hmm.
and but it's only on iOS
Yes.
and mobile. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish you would just could bring it out to the Switch or something.
So let's read this and see what it says. All right. So the as an Apple Arcade exclusive,
Oh, not even Android. Okay.
it could be also one of the first truly high-profile games to arrive on the subscription service since it launched in September 2019. With its unique art style that uses real-life dioramas created by Japanese movie studio veterans, it promises to be a memorable experience.
So there's already 2 factors against it right there, which I think and this is just me speaking as a fan of Mistwalker and their games.
Mm-hmm.
They've unfortunately consistently limited themselves.
Yes.
Whether it be because of financial reasons or not. Lost Odyssey, amazing game, phenomenal, locked on the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
It should be also available for Sony platforms, hell, anywhere else.
Yeah.
And same thing with The Last Story. The Last Story is locked on the Wii. Like you can't play that anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so they make phenomenal games that are a lot of fun, and
Nobody knows about them.
no one knows about them, or there's just not enough people, because I don't know. They just didn't sell as much as I think that they should have. Like Lost Odyssey is a freaking masterpiece.
Okay.
And
yeah, and you don't say that lightly.
No, not at all. It is incredible. And the fact that this is locked behind mobile, on top of that, a subscription service.
Yeah.
And only one mobile carrier, which is Apple.
That's
what are you doing?
That's like almost as bad as putting it on a calculator.
It's releasing in 2022 for TI-82s.
Yeah, that's like seriously like limiting yourself to like, okay, no one's gonna know about this game. Some people are gonna pull up the Apple Arcade and be like, oh, what's this? They're gonna play it. They're probably gonna love it, and they're gonna tell people about it, and then they're gonna be like, oh, I have an Android.
It's really disheartening.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand. I mean, I can only assume that Apple is throwing him
lots of money.
Their company money.
Yeah.
That's all I can assume. But even then, historically speaking, what is the gain of getting paid to publish something on just one platform?
It's always ended up badly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always ended up badly. Except for like if the platform is massive, right? Like if you do an exclusive for PlayStation or even Xbox now, because so many people have Game Pass. But if you do in the Switch, if you do an exclusive for one of those, okay, you can make a lot of money, and if you're smart, you can do a timed exclusive and then port it to other consoles later. But this is like, I don't know anyone who plays Apple Arcade games. Do you?
Dude, I literally just got 2 or 3 weeks ago
Yeah.
an iPhone 12 Pro Max.
Yeah, you're an
And
iPhone
I
guy.
I love the phone. I'm an Apple guy in general.
Mhm.
And even then, I don't want to be a part of Apple's subscription service
Yes.
for Apple Arcade. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I look at all the subscription services and I'm like being bled dry by all these subscription services that
Yes.
everyone is asking me to be a part of.
Yes.
PlayStation Network, Xbox Live, or
Now,
Xbox
now
Game
you got to
Pass, what have you.
join Nintendo
And then
Switch Online to play Monster Hunter Rise.
I just did. I did it yesterday.
Yeah.
And you know, like I find value in my use of those items. Like right now, I'm lacking value in my Xbox subscription, mostly because I don't play it as much, and I really just play physical games. My PlayStation, I do find value in that. So I've been like culling services that I don't need because I'm just like there's so many little things that just add up.
I know,
So,
man.
yeah.
It especially for me, it's like TV streaming services.
Well, yeah, I'm adding that on top of there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like Hulu, Crunchyroll, Funimation,
Yeah.
HBO Max,
Yeah.
Stars.
It's too much, man.
Amazon Prime.
We are being bled dry. We are being bled dry.
So no thank you. No
Yeah.
thank you. I'm kind of if anything, just to throw support, maybe get a subscription for, you know, whatever limited amount of time I need in order to beat the game.
Yes, like 1 month.
But in general, this game should not be pigeonholed into just this one form of release.
Yeah.
It's just it bodes ill.
It does.
And I love Hironobu Sakaguchi. Like, I love what he's done with the industry. I love his games. And so I find it really saddening,
dude,
to see this.
Imagine
I can only see this failing.
Yeah. Dude, imagine if they use the Apple deal, the potential deal, to bid up a contract with Xbox. Now
What?
that because you know how people are always complaining that Xbox is lacking in good RPGs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like imagine if this came to Xbox, like.
But that's less so the case now. I mean, there's so many games that are cross
Yes,
platform now.
yeah. But like compared to like Sony, you know what I mean? But
oh yeah.
But yeah, basically any of the 3 major consoles and PC is light years better than putting it on Apple Arcade.
Yes.
So there is. Let's just before we end this, let's just take a look at some of these screenshots because these look
it's
incredible.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So here, this looks like a boss fight. The enemies look pretty crazy.
Yes.
Look at that, man. That
gorgeous.
You know what that kind of reminds me of? That's kind of like what Octopath Traveler would be in real life.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
I still need to play that game, damn it.
Yeah. That looks insane, man.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like I literally got excited for this game and then disappointed at the same time.
Yeah, man. It's very it's very, like, the style of this character is very Nier style.
Correct.
And
yes.
but
I think the white hair and the headband really help.
Yeah. But the world is very Octopath Traveler style.
Yeah, well, it just reminisce. It's very, there's a nostalgic feel.
Yeah, it's very Square Enix.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Wait. I'd like to read that quote. Scroll up real quick right there. I'm aging quite a bit, so I think the remaining number of projects I can do are quite numbered, and I wanted to be really honest with myself and develop a game that I really like and want to make in the same genre. Like, I want everyone to be exposed to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is that I never To be honest, I never really got to play Terra Battle,
Yeah.
which was another Mistwalker game, but it was also locked on mobile, and now no one can play it unless through questionable means because it's not available.
Yeah, actually,
Like so many mobile games just disappear.
oh,
Like
dude.
when I upgraded my iPhone,
Yeah.
I had in my previous iPhone Infinity Blade 1, 2, and 3.
Uh-huh.
Those are like the touchscreen fighting third-person action games
Yeah.
done by Chair,
Yeah.
who were people that were from like Epic Games, I believe.
Yeah.
Anyways, those games were kind of technical powerhouses in their time.
Yeah.
And I liked playing them, to and from.
Yeah.
But anyways, after upgrading, those games are no longer on the iOS store. They're not available anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I can't access them, and this just really really drives the fact or my point, our point, in that physical games
Are
as
needed.
long as you have
Yeah.
access to them and you have the hardware and everything, that's the way to go because people beyond that have control over these properties can pull them at any time, and then you won't have access to them.
Yeah. So something interesting in the article, we can read this real quick. All right. Mistwalker hasn't made a console game for a decade since the last story on Wii, which you talked
Yep.
about. Is part of this because the console market is declining in Japan, or was it a personal preference to make a mobile game rather than a console one? After we created the last story, I was wondering what we were going to do next. I was having dinner with a colleague of mine who worked at Famitsu, and I'm not sure you're familiar with the game Puzzle and Dragons released by Gung Ho. By the way, this game was amazing when it came out on mobile back in the day. It was like one of the first great mobile games. But I mean, I don't even know if you can get it anymore, like we were saying. Well, the Famitsu.
Well, it's funny because just to go back to our story, I looked up that Zodiac or Canon Odyssey
Yeah.
game that we talked about, and that game was a mobile game. It was released in 2015, no longer available anywhere.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, the Famitsu person happened to be friends with the creator of Puzzle and Dragons. And he said, oh, let's invite him to dinner too. This will be fun. Sure enough, he invited Yamato-san, and we talked about drinking and having a great time. And I think at this time, the entire concept or way of thinking when approaching a mobile game was completely different. And when I played Puzzle and Dragons, it was a huge shock to me. I knew the gacha system was going to be at the core, like most mobile games, with the random loot boxes. But they crafted the game in such a way where I didn't feel too gacha driven, and there was a lot to do. So that to me was very eye-opening and a big shock. So at that time, I felt like I also wanted to challenge myself. And that led to the first Terra Battle, which we developed with a team of just 4 people. And because it was on mobile, that was possible. I think also working on something with a very small team had a sort of appeal to me as well. I think it might be a bit fun. Sort of a string of... So it was just on a whim, is what I'm reading here.
Yeah,
He didn't really think it through.
This was a little meandering.
Yeah, it seems like he didn't really think it through. He just...
I mean, he just said that the reason why he went to mobile in the first place was because of a gacha puzzler game.
Yeah.
Which to me already bodes ill.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad that you enjoyed Puzzle and Dragons, but that's like a match 3 game.
That's a totally different game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not an
RPG. It's not the game that I personally would like to see coming from someone storied in JRPGs.
Yeah.
So it's a little weird. Oh, I love these little. Oh my god, they look incredible.
Yeah.
This is awesome. That is so cool.
Yeah. So yeah, we got to move on. But everyone, this is a good article. I'm gonna post it. Please check it out. It's got a lot of information in here. So, but yeah, it's to just reiterate. I hope they have their eyes open and they put this on an actual platform that people can play it.
Yeah. Just think of the Switch as mobile.
Yeah. All right. Next up. The original Ninja Gaiden Black and 2 code has apparently been lost. So you're getting Sigma.
This goes to exactly to what we were talking about
yes,
earlier.
Yes, I know.
In terms of developers not being the best stewards for their own properties.
Yeah. So okay. We talked about the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, right? And
Yes.
at first, I was excited, but then when I learned it was Sigma,
I told you that
yeah,
though.
you told me it was Sigma. I got unexcited, and apparently now we're learning why it was Sigma because they lost the freaking code. So, um, let's look here. People who missed out on the first 3D action Ninja Gaiden games released in the aughts, we will have a chance to play all 3 games this coming June in Ninja Gaiden Master Collection announced for the Nintendo Switch, all the consoles. But sadly, the first 2 entries in the trilogy will be based on the Sigma re-releases that originally came out in the PS3 and PS Vita, not their definitive versions. Ninja Gaiden Black and original Xbox and Ninja Gaiden 2 for the Xbox 360. Because the team says their source code went missing.
Oh.
Citing a recent Famitsu interview via Kotaku, a staffer of the developer Team Ninja told the publications that there are only fragments of the data that remain. We couldn't salvage them. So it's not that the company prefers the Sigma remakes over the beloved original titles. This was Team Ninja's only option. So there you have it.
So my suggestion to you is to purchase an Xbox Series X.
Yes.
And then purchase Ninja Gaiden Black, Ninja Gaiden 2 on the Xbox 360, and Ninja Gaiden, well, 3 we don't really talk about.
Yeah.
But Ninja Gaiden 3, Razor's Edge.
Yes. So it gets even worse. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about how this is not only impacting the player experience, but this is also going to impact their sales and their business.
To the people that aren't in the know, they'll be fine. They'll probably just get it regardless. But
Okay.
but for people in the know, like you and I,
Yeah.
I ain't touching it.
Yeah. So okay. Here's also a thing, like they released it, they packaged it, they knew they were putting inferior games in because they didn't have the source code. Do you think they should have just like been upfront about it, or they should have just not done it altogether?
Well,
I think
akin to our earlier conversation about developer responsibility.
Yeah.
They are bringing it to current generation consoles so that people have access to it.
Yeah.
So for that, I applaud them.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the question for, at the very least myself, is this the option that I want to pursue? Is this the version that I would prefer to play?
Mm-hmm.
And that, unfortunately, is one of the risks that developers take when they port over a version of an old game where they do make changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in this case, no, I don't want it.
Yeah.
But let's say like something in the case of, again, Square Enix, when they released Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, I was like, yes, I want it. Even though they lost the source code, they needed to kind of, what's it called when you work backwards?
Reverse engineer.
Yes, reverse engineer their game, and then they also created new assets.
Yes.
But it's still very much that same game, and I wanted to see it in this new light.
Yeah.
I preferred that.
Yeah.
So it is a case by case basis,
Yes.
but I think overall what they're doing is correct. They didn't have access to what they could, so they did the best with what they had.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. There's still going to be some people out there who aren't as picky as you and me, and they're going to play it, and they're still going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Now this brings me to the next bad part of it.
Oh no.
Ninja Gaiden Master Collection appears to be using the Vita version for one game.
Ouch.
So it gets even worse. It gets even worse.
No.
Recent footage from the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection is more comparable to the Vita version of the game than the PS3. So here they break it down. All right, fans going through the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection footage had found something curious. It appears that the Ninja Gaiden Sigma is using the PS Vita version of the game rather than the PS3 version. Eagle-eyed Ninja fans on Resetera, I actually saw this post. That's how I heard about this. Have been looking through the announcement trailer for the collection and have found several things that point to the potential downgrade. Comparing the footage of Doku boss fight seen in the trailer with the PS3 version of the game shows that the Master Collection version has much lower texture resolution in the background. However, comparing the footage to the PS Vita release of the game is a pretty solid match, which is making fans believe that the Master Collection is actually porting that version of the game. So here we can look.
That's not a good look at all.
Yeah. Actually, let's pull up the Resetera article because they actually put more screenshots. All right. So here you can see the PS3 version. And this is the collection. Notice that the character doesn't look it looks different, right?
Yes.
Here's the PS3 version again. So it doesn't match. So and then I guess people pulled up the PS Vita version and it looks like that instead.
Now, has Koei Tecmo made any kind of announcement or response?
I don't know. I just know that in that previous article from Famitsu, it said that it did say PS Vita in there. It said because we lost the old code, we had to import some code from PS3 and PS Vita. So let me pull it up.
That's unfortunate.
Just so we can verify. Let's see. Where we go? Oh, here we go. The first two entries in the trilogy will be based on the Sigma releases that originally came out in the PS3 and PS Vita. Oh, they're just saying it came out on it.
Yes.
Okay, so
that's how I read it.
Okay, yeah. So they're not saying they used it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No, I haven't seen any official statement from them saying if they used it, but people are pointing out that it does not look like the PS3 version. Now, I don't think this is for all the games. I think this might just be for one of the games. I think this is for the 3, Sigma 3, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah,
well, 3 never got a Sigma. It was only Ninja Gaiden 3 and then Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, which is like a director's cut.
Okay. So, but I think it's for one of those. So for one of those, it looks like they're using the PS Vita version.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the original.
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden Sigma 1.
Okay. So yeah, it makes the collection, or it makes this collection even worse. It makes it even worse because they're using the wrong version. So.
For those people that want access to these games and don't want to go through the rigmarole of getting an older console, that they already have the current generation consoles, then more power to them. Yeah, it's just unfortunate. And if you were really itching for some Ninja Gaiden and this put you off, I highly suggest getting Neo and Neo 2, or if you have a PS5, the Neo collection. They are phenomenal games. They're awesome, hard action games, and you can play pretty much. It's not as combo driven as Ninja Gaiden is in terms of like the move sets that Ryo Hayabusa has, but it's a lot of fun. I highly suggest.
Yeah. So yeah, Neo's a good alternative if you're itching to play that type of game. But yeah, I mean, my advice would be like try to get the old copy. Try to get and now that we know that the code was lost. I'm gonna secure my old copies just to make sure I have them. So,
of course. Oh, so wait, you have the original Xbox game still?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Next up, this was the big release this week. Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah.
So I just pulled this up because it has some of the features in here. So the game has buddy support. Palico helpers are back, and they're brought by a new friend to join on the hunt. Palamutes. During quests, you can ride your Palamute to quickly navigate the environment without using stamina. You can even use some items to recover health. But your Palamute won't just sit back and watch you battle. They will join you in the battle. You can gather hunting parties, party with a friend in local or online. So I guess you can do local co-op.
Yes, you can.
So we're going to be doing multiplayer.
Whenever you're ready for it. I already did multiplayer last night, fool.
Well, I haven't got my copy yet, so.
That's not my fault.
The hub quest difficulty levels change depending on the number of players, adapting on the fly as players join or leave. Gear up, armor, and weapons can mean the difference between success and failure. Gather rewards from the hunt to upgrade. Create new armor and weapons to pick the right skills and suit your playstyle and objective. New hunting actions. Create different combos with the new switch skills. And try each weapon's high-flying skill-bind attack with the use of your new wire bug. Ferocious monsters from the smaller Barabara to the towering Diablos. So, okay. And the perks of nature. Some smaller native critters can grant perks that last till the end of your quest, while others can be captured to use as items. Each area has different types of life, so make sure you use them on your hunt. And then it goes on to talk about some of the starter weapons, the longsword, hammer, hunting horn, and the dual blades. So, yeah, now that you've played the game, what's your opinion on it?
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Great.
I played a little bit of Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate and Monster Hunter World, and most recently Monster Hunter World. I never got Iceborne because I'd already fallen off of Monster Hunter World, and honestly, those are engrossing games. You could play them for long periods of time, and I wanted to move on, even though right now I'm playing an MMO.
Yeah.
But anyways, the game looks incredible. It's eye-popping even on the Switch.
Yeah.
And I say even on the Switch because it's not as powerful as something on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. I have those consoles, and so comparatively speaking, when you've got this lower powered console and it's still producing eye-dropping something graphically impressive, it says something.
Yeah.
So Capcom did some magic. That RE engine is working well for them, and it looks quite gorgeous. The sound is impressive. I've already want the soundtrack.
Oh, nice.
Especially, yeah, it's very, very cool, and the gameplay so far has been quite fluid. Yes, there is some dropped frames, but aside from that, it has been consistent, at least on my end. And I played online yesterday with a friend of the podcast, John, and we did a couple of missions together, and it went off without a hitch.
Nice.
Now, the only thing that I could state coming out of Monster Hunter World is that, yes, it doesn't look as dense as Monster Hunter World does, and it's not as crisp.
Okay.
But it's still the art direction is still very beautiful, and it does feel a little bit slower than Monster Hunter World. I don't know if that's just because of the weapons that I'm using. My favorite is the Charge Blade. But I don't know. There's something about it that feels just a little bit slower, and I think maybe there is an artificial slowness in order to allow for the frame rate to be more consistent.
Okay.
But I'm enjoying it. I think it's fantastic, and I can't wait till you and another of our friends comes on and we can team up.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm hoping that I get my copy today, and we can try. I'll log on tonight.
Cool.
So yeah, there you have it. Monster Hunter Rise has good reception, and it looks like a really fun game.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. I highly suggest it for any Switch owners out there that are interested.
Okay. But Would you say it's not really a replacement for Monster Hunter World?
No, not really.
Okay.
No, not really. If anything, I mean, there are some really cool quality of life
Mhm.
improvements that they've made. I don't think the Palamute was in Monster Hunter World. The
Mhm.
Palico was.
Yeah.
But the way that they're being used, and then also the silk bugs,
Mhm.
or the wire bugs, pardon.
Yeah.
Very cool addition.
Yeah.
So there are a number of differences, but I think the expansiveness of world is enough of a difference that if you had both,
Mhm.
and you wanted something new, then yeah, the Monster Hunter Rise is where to go. But if you're still playing World and that's your thing, then I don't see this kind of replacing that.
Okay. Okay. Good assessment. Next up, this caught my eye. I don't know if you saw this. There's a new Lord of the Rings game.
Yeah, they talked about that at the PlayStation Experience.
Yeah. But they released a trailer on it.
Ooh, I have not seen the trailer.
Okay. Um, unfortunately, due to copyright stuff, we can't play the trailer, but we do have screenshots here.
And we can link out to it in the description.
Yeah. So, so this is a new Lord of the Rings game. It's called Lord of the Rings Golem. It's a stealth game, pretty much.
Yes. Yes.
And it's totally different from the other games. And in this game, you play as Golem, and you're trying to escape the Barad-dûr.
Dude, it's Barad-dûr.
Barad-dûr.
You gotta roll those R's, bro.
Barad-dûr. Where he has been since
Minas Morgul.
where he has been since he was captured by Sauron. So yeah, let's take a look at some of these screenshots. So this one looks like he's sneaking past some guards, and there's an army coming his way. Here he's sneaking directly behind someone. Now I do gotta say, the graphics aren't up to par with the Shadow of Mordor game.
Okay.
But I believe it's done by a smaller studio.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to see how this game works and plays, because I mean, it's definitely not. Golem is not like a killer.
No, he's a rat.
It's just all stealth. What, and just avoiding and then
Yeah.
talking to yourself,
Yeah, you know what it kind of reminds me of? Abe's Odyssey.
which is a game I never got into.
Okay. Except Abe's Odyssey is more of a 2D side-scrolling stealth game.
Yeah. If anything, Golem just wants to be left alone.
Yeah. He wants to be left alone, and he wants to have his precious.
Exactly.
That's all he cares about.
Which I mean, we all wish for that.
Yes. So yeah, I think it's going to be a very entertaining game, but will it be entertaining for 20 hours? I don't know.
Yeah. I think a lot of the heavy lifting will have to be done in the story and
Yes.
character portion of the game, and
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see how they pull it off.
Yeah. So I'm not going to be the people who are like instantly hating on this game.
There's people that are hating on it?
Yeah,
already?
I saw in the forums a lot of people, nobody asked for this. This looks stupid. No one cares about Golem. I am not going to do that because it could end up being a fun game. And
Yes.
we haven't had a Lord of the Rings game in a while now.
There's Shadow of War. Came out on the Xbox One.
It did?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it came out like 5 years ago.
Shadow of Mordor was the first one.
Yes.
That came out on the Xbox 360 and the PS3.
Yeah.
And then they made a sequel to it, and that came out on the Xbox One and the PS4.
Yeah, no, I know about it, but how long ago did that come out?
Ooh, yeah, I actually don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a while since there was a.
But even then, comparatively speaking, the people that are fans of that game,
They still play it.
Well, no, what I'm trying to say is that people that are fans of that game probably wouldn't be interested in this one because of that.
Yeah, no.
Because they're so different.
Yes. But if you're like, you and me are huge Lords of the Rings fan. Yeah. And I feel like if they have a good story,
yeah,
then I'd play it just for that, to be honest. It doesn't have to have ground-breaking gameplay or anything like that. As long as the story is good, I'll play it.
Yeah, no, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, check out that trailer. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
Next up, we have more information about the Switch, the new model Switch. So this is a new article by Bloomberg, and we were speculating about this because we didn't know what they were going to use for the graphics.
Yes.
So this article is about the graphics. So Nintendo to use faster Nvidia chips in new 2021 Switch model. Now,
I mean, just saying new 2021 is already kind of like a stretch. It's like, are you
yes,
sure about that?
yeah.
Maybe it's being made in 2021.
Yeah, because Nintendo, when they're going to release a new console, they like to hype it up for a while. And then they release 5 copies. That's their MO. All right, so let's look at this. Nintendo plans to adopt an upgraded NVIDIA Corp chip with better graphics and processing for a new Switch model planned for the end of the year, shopping season, according to people familiar with the matter. Again, I mean, we don't know who these people are. We don't know if this is true. The new Switch iteration will support NVIDIA's deep learning, super sampling, or DLSS, a novel rendering technique that uses artificial intelligence to deliver high-fidelity graphics more efficiently. That will allow the console, which is also set for an OLED display upgrade, to reproduce game visuals at 4K quality when plugged into a TV, said the people, who asked not to be identified because the plan is not public.
Because of the Nintendo ninjas.
Yeah. So that's really the only... Oh, yeah, and then we have some analysts talking about potential price, but I mean, they got it right with the PS5. So analysts expect the new Switch will be offered at a higher price than the current model, $299, a level unchanged since the Switch's initial release in 2017. Bloomberg Intelligence's Matthew Canterman foresees an increase of as much as $100. $349.99 will increase the value proposition of the device, but I still think Nintendo can drive strong demand even at $399. Shut up! No one asked you. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, there you have it. So this is what we talked about.
Yep.
This is exactly what we talked about. We talked about how they're probably not going to be able to afford or fit a native 4K GPU into the Switch.
Yes.
So they're most likely going to use DLSS upscaling. And do you still stand with what you said last time, where you're not interested in this kind of upgrade?
Oh, whoa. I was interested in not only just a graphical overhaul, but also performance overhaul, which
Yeah.
I believe this also includes.
So yes, this would produce a graphics performance increase for sure. It would.
But I'm also talking about just in terms of game performance.
But
Like,
yeah,
like all those drop frames in Age of Calamity better be picked up with this new, more improved console.
yeah. So I think it would do good for that, but I still think there's an issue when you come to porting these next gen games to the console. I think that's where the problem's going to lie, because it's not just a case of, okay, can it play in 4K or not? It's a case of raw processing power, in which case the NVIDIA chips could help process the graphics, but there still wasn't anything in there about a CPU boost. So,
I mean, this is being drip fed.
yeah,
so.
this is being drip fed, yeah.
So
Yeah, I would say I'm still maintaining my skepticism about it.
Yes.
But I do think they could pull it off with those NVIDIA chips, and it could last. I wouldn't say it could last a whole generation. I don't think it could last as long as like the PS5 or the Xbox Series X could last. I think they would eventually have to upgrade to a newer, like all-out console upgrade. But I do think it would be like a good iterative upgrade that could probably last a couple of years.
Like a
That's just
PS4
my
Pro.
yeah. That's just my
Yeah.
assessment of it. So
No, I agree with you.
yeah.
In that regard, historically speaking, I have supported iterative upgrades.
Mhm.
Couldn't say that. And like the new 3DS, PS4 Pro,
Yep.
the Xbox Scorpio, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as they give you something that you need, that you want,
Yeah.
that makes the experience better, then yeah, I don't mind iterative upgrades because like let's be real, that was always the major downside of consoles versus PC. Because I could always just buy some RAM and plug it in my PC. You know what I mean? I could always
Yeah.
iterative upgrade myself. So the fact that they're doing that now just leads me to believe that they realize that and they know that they have that option and that
Bro,
gamers
they knew about that option since the DS,
yeah,
since the Advance,
yeah.
since the Game Boy Color.
Yeah, they've been doing it with handhelds long before.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been doing it with handhelds.
And I mean, the Switch
It's a handheld.
is their hybrid console.
Yeah. It essentially is it's like the Cadillac of handhelds, pretty much. All right. So for our final story, I left this for last. Microsoft is in exclusive talks to acquire Discord. So the reason I put this is because Discord has become a huge home for gamers and game studios. Almost every indie game that's being released has a Discord. So
Yes, I'm actually part of like the Sea of Stars Discord.
yeah. So it's a big and let's be real, Discord was started as a gaming chat service. So so yeah, so here let's look at this. Look at this. This is insane. Deal valuing chat app at 10 billion or more could be completed next month. So for those of you that aren't aware, Microsoft has been buying up chatting platforms. They bought Teams, which have you ever used Teams?
I use it all the time.
Yeah, so they bought Teams, and now they're looking.
I didn't even know they bought it. I thought they made it.
Did they make it? I thought they bought it.
No, I'm just saying I didn't know.
Yeah, I thought they bought it, but yeah, don't quote me on it. They could have made it, but I know that was their big competition to
Skype?
Skype. Not
Oh,
Skype.
wait, not Skype.
Slack.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Slack. So it looks like they're trying to dominate that market, that chat industry.
Yes.
So they own Teams, and now they're going after Discord. So, I don't know what to say. I don't know if this is honestly. I don't know if this is good or bad. I have no clue. If they take Discord and they turn it into a more corporate friendly chat app, that will not bode well for gamers. But if they take Discord and they keep the gaming aspect of it, they just leave all the gamification for the gamers and everything like that, and they support it, then I don't see an issue. So, but it could go either way, man. I just don't know. I really don't know.
So I use Discord quite frequently,
Mhm.
especially playing Final Fantasy 14. That's my preferred method of chatting with friends,
Mhm.
and there's no ads.
Yeah, yeah, it's great.
And that's already one thing that will change.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you that right now. Microsoft acquires, there will be ads,
that would suck.
and that would suck.
Yeah,
And that would kick me off pretty quickly.
because the only thing that Discord charges for is they have their Nitro, I think it's called, and all it does is give you more features. They don't take anything away. They just give you
Yeah.
more.
Yes.
which is what I like about Discord. And there's actually an official Games I Beat Discord.
I'm a part of that.
You're a part of that too. So maybe we can use that for Monster Hunter later.
Maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, so there you have it. Microsoft trying to buy Discord. I don't know if this is good or not for gamers. I honestly don't know. But I'm skeptical, to say the least, and you're skeptical too because you believe it'll be filled with ads.
Oh yeah.
So that would suck. So yeah, but this is where the free market comes in, where if they do butcher it, someone can come up with a new gaming platform again.
I mean, you say that, but that's so hard to do. And a good example is literally the platform that we're doing this on, YouTube. YouTube got bought up by Google, and it's just become,
no one's been able to do it.
Increasingly worse.
No one's been able to.
Increasingly worse. Like I will get so many ads.
Ads.
It's just pushing you, to do a subscription service, and I'm like, no, this was free. It should remain free.
Yeah.
It's by users for users. If I want to pay for someone, I'll add to their Patreon.
Yeah.
But aside from that, like, no.
Yeah.
No. I don't believe I should be paying for their service if they're not bringing anything to the table that I want to be a part of. Like the closest thing was probably Cobra Kai. That moved to Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, no, thank you. And there hasn't been a successor to that, like a user-generated successor.
No.
Vimeo, if that's how you pronounce it, Vimeo.
Oh no, Vimeo. They went towards more like corporate and art and music hosting.
Yeah.
But it has nothing to do with like content creation, really. I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, it sucks, but I mean, what do you do if your Discord became corporate already? I'll just say that. Discord started as kind of like an underground gaming platform, but it's already been corporatized, and I can tell you because they censor people's chats now.
That's fine.
Using an artificial intelligence.
I mean, that's fine. I don't see an issue with that because it is a public forum.
No. I'm talking
private
chats.
Conversation. Yeah, I'm saying chats.
I'm talking between you and me, a one-on-one chat they censor.
Interesting.
Yeah. That I don't agree with. If you and me are chatting,
yes.
Here's an example. A friend of mine.
If you wanted to text me about something,
yes,
like
they would censor the image.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
So that I don't agree with. They've already become corporatized there, and I'll give you an example. A friend of mine had gotten bit by a bug, and he was showing us the bug bite, and his nipple was exposed. And because it was exposed in the image, Discord censored it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like in my opinion, Discord has already become corporate. So, but they don't have ads, which is good. So I'm tolerating it right now. But like, if they start putting ads, I'm probably just gonna look for an alternative. So, all right.
Yeah. No. You bring up good points, and honestly, the best thing that anyone can do is literally choose whom they support and how they want to support it.
Yeah.
That's all anyone can ever do, really.
Yeah.
It's like if you really don't like something, don't participate in it.
Yeah.
That's the most that you can do aside from actually like actively, talking against them or maybe doing some kind of petition or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do a change.org.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've signed a lot of change.orgs. They don't ever seem to work. But
but I mean, that's you taking action in what ways you have available to you, aside from like as long as it's not something destructive.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
I think that's the most that you can do, and then if something comes out of it, great. If nothing comes out of it, move on.
Yes. Yeah. So there you have it. That was it for this week. Lots of JRPG news. So I hope everyone learned something. I hope you learned something. I know you're like hyped about that one game.
This is like what's it called? Reading a Rainbow or Mr. Rock. I learned so much today.
We need to invite LeVar Burton on the show. That would be freaking awesome.
That would be cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.
Keep on gaming. Take care.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Games I Speak. If you liked the episode, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you all next time.